They say the forest swallows people, but it's not the trees. It's what stands between them. A house. A rotting, breathing, blood-stained house that waits for visitors. Not to welcome them, but to consume them. They call it the Bloody House. Some say it's a ghost. Some say it's alive. But all agree on one thing. No one who enters ever comes out. Not whole, not alive, not human. Until one boy walked in and burned it to the ground. His name was Alex. This is not a story. This is a warning. Because the Bloody House still exists. In your nightmares. In the dark. Behind doors you haven't opened yet. There's a house on the edge of the countryside. Old, rotting, forgotten. No address, no owner, no record in any registry. They call it the Bloody House. And for good reason. Everyone who enters never comes back. Families, explorers, paranormal investigators vanished without a trace. No one knows what happens inside. No one until Alex. This is the story of how a young man stepped into a nightmare and lived to end it. Sound of pages flipping, old radio static fades in and out. Alex was a skeptic. 23, smart, practical. A university dropout with a passion for urban legends. When he heard about the Bloody House from an old podcast, he thought it was just another myth. But the stories had too many details, too consistent. The house supposedly appeared in a forest that constantly shifted. Locals said it moved. One night, it'd be near Ashwood Road. A week later, it'd appear on Hollow Creek Trail. People whispered of red light glowing from inside, of screams, of figures behind the curtains. The most disturbing part? Everyone who entered left behind their phones, their cars, their bags, but never their bodies. Still, Alex decided to go. Not for thrills, but because one of those lost souls was his older brother, Dean. Ambient forest noise fades into silence, then faint heartbeat sounds. Alex found the house after 3 days in the woods. It looked like a Victorian relic, blackened wood, windows cracked like spider webs, door already open. Inside, the air was wrong. It was too warm. The walls dripped with moisture, though it hadn't rained. The ceiling creaked, even with no wind. There was a mirror in the foyer. It showed Alex standing, but with blood running from his eyes. He turned around. No blood. He explored. Each room had furniture that looked like it had been used just yesterday. Plates on the table, firewood in the hearth, but dust on everything. And then, he saw her. A little girl at the end of the hall, staring, pale, silent. She turned and walked into the darkness. Alex followed. Low, unsettling groans echo throughout. Walls seemed to pulse. The house was alive. Doors changed places when Alex looked away. Stairs led to nowhere, and shadows moved where light didn't touch. He found a room filled with photos of people, dozens, maybe hundreds, all victims, and there, pinned at the center, was Dean. Alex screamed his name, but the sound was swallowed by the room. Suddenly, every face in the photos turned to look at him. He fled, but the hallway had grown longer. The girl appeared again. This time she whispered, "You shouldn't be here." She vanished, leaving a blood-stained teddy bear behind. Then the whispering started, not from her, but from the walls. "Stay, stay, stay, forever." Clock ticking louder, thunder rolling outside. Alex found others, not survivors, but victims trapped in loops. A woman rocking in a chair, humming to a dead baby. A man trying to claw through a mirror that only reflected his screams. And Dean, or what was left of him. He looked older, eyes hollow, voice trembling. "Dean, you shouldn't have come, Alex. The house, it feeds on us, every memory, every fear. Alex begged to know how to escape. Dean wept. You don't. You just forget who you are, and then you belong to it. But Alex refused to accept that. He noticed the house recoiled when he lit a candle. Light, real light, weakened it. He gathered matches, oil lamps, anything he could find, and then he found the heart. Heartbeat becomes louder, faster. A wet, throbbing sound rises. Behind a hidden panel in the basement was a room that smelled like rot and death. In the center was a living mass, flesh, bone, eyes. It pulsed, it breathed, it watched. The house was built around it. It was the house. Alex stepped forward with a lantern. The light made the flesh sizzle. Eyes closed. It shrieked. But the house fought back. Walls bled. Floors cracked. Figures emerged. Ghosts, corpses, twisted things that once were people. Dean appeared again. You'll die here too, he warned. But Alex stood firm. He doused the room in oil, took one last look at his brother. I'm ending this, he said, and dropped the flame. Roaring fire, screaming, glass breaking, then silence. The house screamed. It shook. It collapsed in on itself. Alex ran through smoke and flame. Hands tried to grab him from the walls, but the light grew stronger, and then he was outside, coughing, bleeding, alive. The forest was silent, no house behind him, just ash. Authorities found him the next morning. He told them everything. They didn't believe a word. But the disappearances stopped. No more red light in the forest, no more vanishing hikers. The bloody house was gone. And Alex? He never slept soundly again, because in his dreams, he still sees that mirror, and in it, his eyes are bleeding. Soft wind returns. One faint heartbeat. Narrator, quiet, slow. Some houses are built with wood and nails. Others are born from pain, and some doors should never be opened. They say the forest swallows people, but it's not the trees. It's what stands between them. A house, a rotting, breathing, blood-stained house that waits for visitors, not to welcome them, but to consume them. They call it the bloody house. Some say it's a ghost, some say it's alive. But all agree on one thing. No one who enters ever comes out, not whole, not alive, not human, until one boy walked in and burned it to the ground. His name was Alex. This is not a story. This is a warning, because the bloody house still exists. In your nightmares, in the dark, behind doors you haven't opened yet.